Fantastic. So we talk about loving others. We touched on loving yourself. Honestly, the foundation of all this, I asked myself, do you have to love yourself in order to love others?
That's great. I was thinking the same thing. We didn't even talk about this before the show.
We're in sync.
That's
We're
good.
connected.
That's
we
good.
finish each other's
Pies.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Pies. Oh my God. Can you not love yourself but love others? And honestly, I think in some ways you can. From my perspective, I think the way we define love in this Disney sort of love is really not love. I think love is really a bundle of other things: respect, self-esteem, courage, anticipation. Like there's a lot of things that go into the category of love.
Seeing their value,
appreciation. Seeing their value.
There are definitely people who are appreciating others and not themselves.
Yeah,
that wasn't me, but I mean, you stayed. So at least I was somewhat, right?
I think we all love ourselves to a degree. I don't think there's anybody who totally doesn't love themselves. You probably see that person coming from a mile away. I think we all have some degree of loving ourselves. It's the only thing it's what we mine to find our motivation and the inspiration to even make ourselves better, right? So I would argue that there is no point in your life where you didn't love yourself. You might have lost sight of your love for yourself, but you didn't stop loving yourself.
Yeah,
and and that's what I see in people. That's what I see in you. It's this striving to become better, and that appreciation, that respect, and the courage it takes to do that. I think that's all a formulation of love. So can you love someone else, but not love yourself?
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent, you can.
Yeah.
To an extent, you can. Is it easier to love someone else when you love yourself?
Absolutely.
I think so. I think if you have to put focus anywhere, let your primary focus be on loving yourself.
The point that I wanted to sort of question is you often hear you need to love yourself before you get into a relationship. You need to love yourself before you go and you find that person. That's something you hear often is learn to love yourself first. Learn to love yourself first. And it sounds like very good advice. I mean, I would have probably said that to people before, right? If I know the context, I know who they are. It's like, it's definitely better to appreciate yourself, value yourself, see your qualities, and then connect with another person, because you're not going to be so dependent on them. You're not going to be need, give me the love that I need that I don't have for myself.
Exactly.
Right? So it's definitely something that sounds good, but when I think it through, and the experience that I have had with lower self-esteem and meeting you, the love that I received from you has made me learn to see the value of myself and love myself more. So there are gray areas. It's not always just, oh no, you cannot get into a relationship if you don't love yourself. It's let's see. I mean, maybe that is something that will be the catalyst for you to figure it out and to learn to love yourself. Somebody sees your value, they express it to you, they tell you, then you're like, wait a second, if they see my value, maybe there's something there. Maybe there is something there. And that's over the years, like that's something that has helped me tremendously with you. And so when I hear that sort of, blanket statement, oh no, love yourself first, it's like, well, maybe not, maybe it's okay to go and date and see how it works and what happens and make mistakes and learn from it, right?
I think as a rule of thumb, as a principle, certainly you want to love yourself first before you engage in anything. You want to sort of be in sure footing before you take some type of leap, of course. But we don't live in a world of perfections and ideals. No. It's like, it's good to eat healthy. Well, what do I do if I don't eat healthy? Does that mean I can't go to a restaurant? I can't do these things? Well, no. You're going to involve your strategy. You're going to involve your behavior, and you can evolve over time. I think the loving yourself thing really is about the choice that you make in your heart for the direction that you're going to be focusing in. So you can feel sad and be oriented towards feeling sad, or you can feel sad and be oriented towards something more positive. The state of feeling sad is itself the state that you're in, but where you're choosing to face will determine the likelihood of where you're going to go. So you can be in a state of loving yourself, but not enough, or not to a high degree, but wanting to. And that wanting to me, is a love. Like, to me, love is a choice. It's the choice that you're making in order to orient yourself. I am going to make decisions that I believe are more constructive in behavior, that are more edifying in behavior, that will lift people up and shine a light more so than not. And I might be failing at it or not good at it or whatever it is, but I am trying to. And that's, to me, loving yourself. Loving yourself is not some set of conditions that need to be met. You have to be smiling all the time. You have to have your heart filled and pumping. That's not what loving yourself means.
Even somebody who has very high self-esteem does not love themselves all the time. They feel bad about things. They criticize themselves. In those moments, they're not loving themselves.
That's right.
Right?
And I feel like if you have, and this probably applies to some people at different times in their lives, if you have like really no love for yourself, then that's really what you want to focus on, because the likelihood that the person you're going to be interacting with will be able to reach you and bring you out or anything like that, I think is low in terms of a romantic love.
It's also, I think, sort of dangerous. Like, if you really do not love yourself, the type of person that you're going to engage with is not likely to be very healthy for you. And people get into abusive relationships and the like that's something that you hear a lot about this pandemic, abusive relationships. And so, yeah, if you're really down there, start reading some self-help books, get a life coach, watch us.
That's right, talking to the right people. And that's where I agree with you with your point where we are social creatures. And it's unfair to ask that we as individuals do everything on our own, that we are supposed to be Superman. We're social creatures, and the people who are around us, yes, it could be life coaches, it could be colleagues, it could be friends and family, but whoever is around you, I don't honestly think it's a responsibility, even of the person on the street as a society, to rely on each other for what we need, right? And so if you had a deficit in food, right, or money or something, and somebody said, or a job, somebody said, no, you got to get that right before you go out and interact with people. You're like, look, I have a deficit in food, and part of this solution is going to come about when I interact with other people who might give me food. Part of this money might be other people who give me money, welfare, or something like that. Like, it's not some failure of mine to have to depend on other people for my needs, and love might be one of those needs. And so I know that I used to feel love. I feel love going to a comedy show because the comedian who's on stage, if they're a good comedian, is trying to make my day better. Like, they're trying to make me laugh. They're trying to do right by me. And I think that's important. And so in some ways, when you do your job well, when you smile at a stranger, when you open the door, like whatever you're doing in society is helping other people to experience love and value for themselves. And so, yes, you finding love and having love within yourself is important, but relying on other people and seeing that love from other people and getting that even from a romantic relationship, I don't think is a bad way to go. Yeah. But again, it's a spectrum, it's a balance. You're going to determine yourself. Sometimes your problem with not loving yourself has to do with other people, codependency. And other times it has to do with something else. It could just be something that happened in your childhood or something other thing. So you're going to determine your deficiencies and what will make you stronger or not stronger. And sometimes it's experience. You're in a relationship, you're trying to feel love, they're loving you, but then you're not receiving it and the relationship is getting all messy. Maybe that's a time for you, it's a sign for you to go and deal with love on your own. But if you're feeling down or whatever, and then you get a relationship and that boosts your self-esteem, they're telling you, I love you, you're saying I love you, you're getting physical contact with them, you're getting oxytocin. How dare you deny that of me just because I'm not so great on my own, right? And honestly, the people who are great on their own, I don't think there's many of them out there, Not everybody is like great on their own. We're social creatures, and that's okay.
But they can be great on their own. Maybe they're not in a relationship, but they have a lot of friends and family, and the romantic relationship is not necessarily... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
For everybody who's watching this, if you're watching this after the fact, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like so that we know you like the video, and make sure to share it with somebody if you like them, and hit that little bell so that you know when we go live. We upload videos, we got great content, we're doing wonderful things. Thank you everybody for watching.